It's a cultivation deal. It's critical to cultivate, and most people don't cultivate. So I'm going to give you one phrase to walk away with if you don't walk away with anything else, and that is, here's how you know if you're in the game of evangelism. How many lost people count you as a good friend? How many lost people count you as a good friend? Hear the question. Not how many people do you think that you know are lost that are friends. I'm saying that guy will stand up at your funeral today if it happened and said, Edmondson was a great friend of mine. We just got back from a week-long vacation with a couple that we're praying for and spent a lot of time with. She came to me and she said, it's been my dream to go with good friends and pay for their vacation for a week. And they took us and paid for our vacation. They're not believers. That's evangelism. And over time, I'm convinced God's going to reach those folks. All the sowing and the harvesting, there's people out there that will be critical of friendship evangelism because they'll say, well, you'll never get around to tell them about the gospel. That is hogwash. If you're really good friends with someone and you're deeply involved in their lives, how do you not end up talking about spiritual things? It's impossible. So whether you're in the workplace or you're in the neighborhood, it's impossible for it not to happen and come out. Evangelism is a process of many decisions. And I'm a decent sales guy by the way the world would measure me. But on the inside, I know I never sell anything. Do you know what I do? I align with the customer's buying cycle. My role as a sales guy is to understand the cycle and be a part of that buying cycle. I'm not a good enough sales guy to make somebody buy faster than they're able to or before they're ready. I'm just not that good. That's evangelism. There are some people that are just not ready to hear the gospel, but they're very ready to come talk about a troubled marriage or just have dinner at your house. Last night at a baseball game, a couple came to us and their 10-year-old son, they just called the police on because he's run away too often. So we said, would you please come over to the house so we can get some time together? That's evangelism. They're not believers. We'll have a chance to connect. So my last story, I got 2 minutes. Last story is a guy named Gary Brooks. And the only reason I want to share this is because some of you guys may know him. He was in a recent magazine. He tells this whole story. Gary is a neat guy. He's the only up and outer I personally know. All the other lost guys that came to Christ were just screwed up royally, right? This guy's an up and outer. He had money. It was all great. And he still came to faith. And God brought me to Servigistics. Gary was head of marketing. The founder of our company, Mike Landry, started investing in Gary. And over a period of, and I confirm this, 7 years, God did a number of things. He went to events. He did a Bible study. He came to my testimony, read more than a carpenter like the other guy did. He did that. He went to a bunch of high-tech prayer breakfasts, went to other outreaches. And in the end, some dude named Price Harding, he goes to meet with. In 30 minutes, Price goes, do you want to become a Christian? And Gary goes, sure. He comes to Christ. 7 years. So Harding got to close the deal. Gary calls me on the way because I just became a Christian, and I jokingly said, oh, come on, man. I've been spending all my time selling you, and you didn't let me close the deal. But I may lose on this one. But he just told a story in a magazine that's been distributed to a number of people, and my name's mentioned in it. It's the drug. When we play in the lives of people in God's game, there is nothing more substantial and significant that any of us can do. Nothing. And if you don't understand it, I know why. You haven't tasted the drug. And I hope God doesn't mind me using such a callous analogy, but it's the best one I come up with. I love engaging people where they are spiritually, but I also grasp that me going to lunch with that guy for 3 years, talking about nothing but sports and family and stuff like that, is a critical part of the process. So if you don't do anything else, grasp that it's a long-term deal of many decisions. Don't look to close it. In fact, don't worry about closing the deal. And by the way, you can use outreaches like you're going to hear about shortly as a key part of the process, right? And don't expect them to get closed. It's just part of a process that God wants to use in their lives.